Okay, in this video, we're going to show you how to set up a webinar, and then in a future video, we'll show you how to operate a webinar right in Kartra. Okay, so of course, we'll go over here to our dashboard, and that's where we're at. And then over on the left, webinars are under events. So I'm going to click on webinars, and I've put a test webinar in here for you. And so I click test to open it up. You would, of course, click, the plus button to make a webinar and give it a name. And then this is, like always, this is how it starts going across the top. So we'll start at the left, and it says schedule sessions. So you click change, and this is going to be for one single session. And then you put in the date and time and click add. And so now don't sign up for this because this is not real. I'm just showing you a test. So April 23rd at 9 p.m. Now, if you had multiple sessions, I'm going to cancel that because it'll wipe out the single session. But if you had multiple sessions, you'd be able to pick several sessions down here, and people could pick which one they wanted to attend. And you can also set it so for weekly or daily or whatever webinars you're going to do them, and they can pick those. So that's what those three things are for. But we pick single session. That's what most people do. Click save. And then time zone conversion. I usually let people pick their own time zones, even when I was doing the other older webinars, because that way they don't get mixed up and then they forget to show up. Okay, so then we go to look and feel, and of course it populates my logo automatically. And this is where you actually put a webinar description or title to it, 40 characters, and then a further description you can put there. All right, click save on that. And then this is where you can pick your presenters. So this is me with my mean old picture here. I got a nicer picture. I just slapped whatever I could in there. I don't know how that one got in there. But this is where you can put in the pictures of the presenters and their email addresses and so forth, and first and last names. So that's where you put the presenters. Click save. All right, then we go next to the registration. So this particular one is a free one. And so the free ones will have an automatic sign-up form for them with these fields. You can add fields to them, but again, we don't usually want to add too much to this, to a sign-up for a freebie. Now, if it's paid, you need, it's highly suggested you make a product over in the sales section and connect it to here. See, because it says you probably want to create a brand new product exclusively dedicated to this webinar. Otherwise, if you use an existing product for other purposes, you might subscribe your customers to your webinar by mistake. So basically make a product and then pick it from the list down here. But this is going to be a free one. So we'll just click save and move on. All right, registration message. The headline, learn to use Kartra. Sub-headline, I just threw some stuff in here. And it'll be over here when they get their registration message. All right, save. And then success message. So this is confirming that their registration worked. Now you can have just a page, a Kartra generated page for that with the headline and subhead, or you can, I've had great luck with this, redirecting them to some other page, which was a sales page, and I would make money before the webinar even started. Right? So don't be afraid to make a sales page for some other product, and once they subscribe or register, they get dumped on the sales page, and then they still get an email that's going to have all their details in them. So that's one thing you could try. All right, click save there. Now here's emails. So email confirmation reminders are going to come from Kartra mail, but they're my name and my orders@antion.com. Reply to orders@antion.com. And they're pulling all this from my my profile stuff. And the mailing address from your profile will be shown in the email footer, which is required with the canned spam. See, yeah, I didn't even know that pop-up said that, but yeah, it's canned spam compliance. All right, so we're good there. Don't need to change that. Booking confirmation message. Click change on that. It says, no, don't send it. But yeah, we want to send a booking confirmation, and you can pick when to send it. So you should send it immediately upon registration. And then it has the webinar link, or where they would come on to the program when the time comes. Click save there. And before and after reminders. So you can set multiple, this is a new before session reminder. So this would be, and you pick like, okay, a day before, and then save that. And then have one, 5 hours before, those kinds of things. This is before the session starts. And then you'd use this one if you wanted to remind them to watch the replay or do something after the session was over. All right. So you can fill those in and play with those. All right. So we go up to live. Now, these are things that you can prepare and then pop them in whenever you want during the live event. You wouldn't want to try to do these at the last second in the middle of an event. Okay. So you can set up a poll or a quiz right here, and then this would be waiting for you in your interface to the webinar, so you can pop it in whenever you want to. You can do a product offer. So let's take a look at what I did. We'll have to see that in another video. I put a new offer in here, but this is where you put it in, and it'll show up when the time comes. Okay, well, I could add a new one, I guess, to show you how it goes. So you select an image, it goes over here, you put the offer name, and the offer headline goes up here. This is the name for you, see, for your reference only. And you select the image of the product. There's text above the button. You can put some advertising text there. You can change the text inside the button, and you can link the button to a Kartra product or an external product, whatever you want. And it opens in a new tab, so they're still in the webinar and they can be buying stuff while they're in the webinar. You can apply scarcity to it. You can say, now ebooks, it wouldn't make much sense, but you can say there's only, 5 hours, so many here. You wouldn't do that for an ebook, of course. But urgency, you would say, okay, this deal is good for 5 hours, and then there's a countdown timer, right over here. So very cool thing. You can add offers, and they're sitting there ready to pop in whenever you get to that point in the webinar. Okay, videos. So you can pick a video, and it'll be waiting for you, and you can play segments of it, turn it on and off. And it's sitting right there in the right side of your interface screen, which we'll show you in a different video. Okay, save that. You can give them handouts or downloadable files in there. This is where you would put your PowerPoint presentation if that's what you were doing. Okay, so that's all the stuff you're preparing for the live event. Now this is a replay. Click that. Okay, yes, allow access to the replay page or not. So you can say, hey, no replay for this, but we almost always do a replay. So you pick what you want there. Replay contents. Okay, a replica is the exact thing that was recorded, but you can adjust it and reload up, a version of it that's better if you had some glitches. Or you can just redirect them to another page and play the replay. So that's that section. replay controls, this is where you can allow them to fast forward and rewind and all that stuff. So I got a lot of complaints when I wouldn't, if they knew it was a replay and they wanted to fast forward or something. Yeah, so I got a lot of complaints. So I usually allow them to use the player controls. Click Save. Okay, and then you can say, okay, the replay is going to die or go dead after a certain date. See, or you can leave it up forever. All right, click Save there. And this is where you can allow them to submit questions by activating a question box. And if you do activate the question box, you're going to have to keep your email open. That's where the questions are going to come in. And you should tell them that, because when you reply to the question, it's going to go to their email. This is kind of crazy on I kind of invented, I'm pretty sure that I invented this topic, or this thing called a hybrid webinar. So many of the younger people were just so lazy, they would just play replays, and then nobody would be around to answer questions. So I invented the topic, and I even have hybridwebinars.com, where I played the replay, but I said, here's the replay, but I'll be there answering questions live. And so that made a lot of money. And it was very easy because I didn't have to be, worrying, about every detail of the webinar. It was just playing, and I'm just there answering questions in my email, and people are buying stuff. See, so that's called a hybrid webinar. So don't get lazy and just play replays all the time. If you tell them you're there live, you'll close a lot more sales. Okay. Okay. So anyway, activate the question box, click Save. Now, automations. Again, we're going to cover that in different section of this whole course, but I want you to think of automations always as if and then. So if they register for the webinar, then what? Then I'm going to tag them as a webinar attendee, a specific webinar. Then I'm going to put them on a list. Then I'm going to put them in an email sequence. All kinds of stuff like that. That you do with automations, and it's the same for everything in Kartra. If they do something, then you're going to point them somewhere else. All right, so that's that. Okay, now so this thing is published. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to go ahead and close it out. I'm going to go back to webinars. And then over here is where the links are. These are the registrants. This is where you can download the recordings and use them elsewhere if you want. And these three buttons allow you to clone the webinar, so you don't have to do all the settings again. And then you just change them, give it a new name and change some of the stuff, but you don't have to change all the settings. But anyway, I'm going to click links here. And this is the link that you're going to give to the registrants, and I'll show you what it looks like. So it's going to be something like that, okay? Learn to use Kartra. The webinar would be great. Here's the host. There could be a couple hosts in here. And this is when it's going to happen, a countdown timer, all this stuff. Register now. Okay, and then this is my link that I'm going to use. So let's show you what that looks like. So when you first go to it, it reminds you, it's a nice, I taught people when doing webinars to have a checklist so they don't forget stuff. So this reminds you of all the stuff you should be doing. You still should have a checklist so you don't miss anything. And then when you click continue, you do an audio and video test. I'll see if I can get through this on this recording. Probably can't, because I'm recording this video, and so you can't use the audio on both at one time. Let's see, I'll just click allow when using the site. And anyway, there's me. Hey, how you doing? And you can do an audio and video test here. And so I'm going to just click yes and get out of here. And then it says, congratulations, enter room. And this is where we're going to pick up on another video. So that's how you set up a webinar in Kartra.